There is a certain rule when it comes to romance fantasy reincarnation stories. The rule is that when a heroine gets reincarnated into a novel, a happy ending is guaranteed. Whether she is reborn as the villainess or just an extra, she ends up becoming the main character and achieving her happy ending. Even the male leads, caught up in misunderstandings and initially despising the heroine, inevitably fall in love with her and protect her. But then there was her. "You wanted to escape that badly?" he asked, a sword in his hand, stained with blood. He continued, "Then you should not have been caught. I warned you." He raised his sword, pointing it at her. "That if you ever tried to run from me again, I would kill you." The sword pierced her chest. She coughed up blood and died, stabbed by the very male lead who was so obsessed with her. But she did not die. When she opened her eyes, she was back in her original world. Every time she woke up, her thoughts returned to the past, waking up in a palace, living that life. She grew irritated thinking that all the suffering she endured in that world had led only to a death ending. Is this really how a reincarnation story is supposed to end? Yum, wake up. Come down to eat. It was her uncle calling for her. She felt a little sad as the memories resurfaced, but she was also relieved, happy that she had made it back. She got ready for school with renewed determination. Her real story in this world starts now. While having lunch with her uncle, she suddenly found herself missing Korean food. In that other world, there had been no kimchi or kimchi stew. She took big bites of her meal, which her uncle quickly noticed, pointing out how she used to be picky and asking why she was suddenly eating so well. She didn't say anything, just thanked him for the food and said goodbye as she left for school. Her uncle worriedly told her that he still thought she should take a full year of rest, but she insisted that she was fine. After all, when she had reincarnated into the novel, she had collapsed in this world and remained unconscious for 3 months. Her entire turbulent lifetime in that other world had lasted only 3 months here. It was absurd. Still, she was lucky to have woken up and returned to her own world. She suddenly called out to her uncle. He immediately thought she might be sick again, but instead she simply said, "I love you." Goosebumps spread all over him, and he became fully convinced that she was definitely sick. On her way to school, she overheard 2 girls gossiping about a novel character, the Crown Prince, talking about how obsessive and hot he was. Just hearing it gave Yum PTSD. She snapped back into her thoughts, wondering what was so good about an obsessive guy. All romance fantasy novels in this world should be burned, and all obsessive male leads should be burned at the stake. Suddenly, someone slammed into Yum and clung to her, acting overly familiar. "Long time no see," she called out cheerfully. "I heard you were sick. I was so worried." Yum had forgotten. She used to be timid and was always an outcast at school. Somehow, she had ended up on Kim Gabin's bad side, and as a result, she had spent every day living in fear, bullied, and isolated. Kim Gabin cornered her, saying, "Wow, Yoon, you're practically glowing." She kept babbling, while Yoon simply looked at her without saying a word. Annoyed by her reaction, Kim Gabin raised her hand to hit her. "Answer me, you." Before she could strike, Yoon grabbed her wrist, twisted it, and pinned her down with ease. Yoon had lived 2 lives, 20 years spent surviving conspiracies, plots, and kidnappings in that other world. Kim Gabin, on the other hand, was just a student. Kim Gabin screamed in pain, and Yoon released her. "I won't let my life be ruined a second time," she said calmly. And from now on you would live her life quietly. While Yoon was reincarnated, the school year had changed, and so had her class. A new class and a new beginning. "I'm definitely going to make friends this year." Yoon was determined. She glanced to her right and noticed a group of students. Because of her long aristocratic life in her past world, she could instinctively tell that they were good students, the kind she could easily befriend. They were talking about someone named Lee Haewon. Yoon didn't recognize the name, so she asked, wondering if he was some kind of celebrity. The girl sitting in front turned to her, asking if she was joking Lee Haewon was in their class. The student beside her quickly reminded the girl that Yum Seum had been sick and had only just returned. They explained that Lee Haewon was basically the school's celebrity. He was handsome, drop-dead gorgeous. His family was rich, and the craziest part? His personality was nice, too. He was practically an angel. She was confused. If he had been in their school since first year, why didn't she recognize the name? She simply replied, "Oh, I see," still wondering if there really was such a handsome guy in their school. Suddenly, the classroom door opened, and a tall figure walked in. The class instantly became lively. "Oh, it's Haewon. Lee Haewon, you're here." But Yum Seum froze. She had never been this shocked, not even when she realized she had reincarnated into a novel. Holy crap. She covered her mouth, her body trembling. No way. The boy approached her with an easy, friendly smile. "Hey, I haven't seen you before. You must be the one who's been absent. Nice to meet you. I'm Lee Haewon." But Yum Seum's expression was indescribable, because standing in front of her wasn't Lee Haewon at all. It was Killian de Wintre, the man from the novel who had killed her. Yum Seum couldn't hear anything around her. Lee Haewon tried to approach her, but before he could even touch her, Yum Seum grabbed him and flipped him over her back. She froze. The entire class froze with her. Lee Haewon groaned on the floor and said, "You're really strong." She was screwed. At the cafeteria, she spiraled into an existential crisis. She had just become the monster who slammed the most popular kid in school to the ground. She was sure she was headed for another friendless school life. Then two students approached her. Can we eat with you?" She couldn't believe it. Some students still wanted to sit with her. Still stunned, she nodded and let them join her. Their eyes sparkled as they asked if she had learned self-defense, if she was really that strong. As the conversation turned friendly and warm, Yum Seum felt something she hadn't expected. She was happy, because for the first time, she thought, "I think I made friends. Don't come any closer. If you take one more step, I'll stab you." "Ines," he called softly, holding her hands. "Shaking like this, how do you plan to stab me?" He looked at her and smiled. "Should I help you?" Before she could ask what he meant, Killian guided her hand and stabbed the dagger into his own chest. "This is easy." "Too easy," he murmured. "Ines, if you want, I can even pull out my own heart for you." He whispered it into her ear. Ines was crying, calling him crazy, screaming that he had gone mad. "Did you only realize that now?" Killian replied, smiling, his chest and face drenched in blood. Yum Seum jolted awake from the dream. Ever since she had met Lee Haewon, Killian de Wintre had begun appearing in her dreams. She fell into deep thought. Is that kid really Killian? If she looked closely, their faces weren't exactly identical. And yet, the moment she had seen him, her entire body had screamed at her to run. She had transmigrated into a book and returned. So what made her think that Killian couldn't come out of that book as well? On the bus, she searched for her wallet but couldn't find it. If she missed the bus, she would be late for school. She apologized and was about to get off when Lee Haewon stepped forward and tapped his card for her. Then he greeted her casually. Yum Seum kept her distance, wondering why he had to appear on this bus too. Still, she thanked him for paying her fare. "It's nothing," he replied politely. "Your name is Yum Seum, right?" With an angelic smile, he added, "We should say hi to each other from now on." Yum Seum quickly turned her face away. For some reason, the smile on his face only made him more terrifying. She made a firm decision. She would never be friendly with him. She wouldn't even brush shoulders with him until graduation. Just 10 minutes later, she was pinning him against the bus door, with Lee Haewon right in front of her, both of them holding on as the bus grew crowded. Suddenly, someone bumped into her from behind, and she lurched forward, nearly slamming into his chest. She caught herself at the last second, gripping the rail desperately, doing her absolute best not to let even a strand of her hair touch him. Lee Haewon found the situation amusing. "Seum, are you blocking people right now?" he said with a chuckle. "I've only seen scenes like this in dramas." Then he leaned closer. "But usually." He grabbed her and pinned her gently against the door. "I'm taller." Now he was the one blocking people for her. Everyone around them stared, as if the whole world had been washed in a pink filter. She screamed internally, "Don't sparkle the pink background." She was losing her mind and couldn't even bring herself to meet his eyes. Unbeknownst to her, he was watching her with a mysterious glint in his gaze. Was he Killian, who had followed her into this world? Or did he have another motive for her? Let's find out in the upcoming chapter.